Hey everyone, it's time for results. Again, apologies for the lesser amount of videos than usual. I'm just focusing on live. It's more important sometimes in card games, and that's a lesson to you. Focus on live stuff first before jumping in. But I do want to get back into making other random videos, but that will have to wait for soon, okay? But with this, still focusing on results, top decks. I'm like right now I think it's like 2 videos a week, but I do want to go back to 3. But now it is what it is, right? So anyway, let's talk about the results. The reason why I'm so focused on these results is because right now we have set 4 meta just came out in Japan. Next week we're gonna get like, I mean, maybe 2 weeks later we're gonna get English meta set 3, which should be pretty interesting as well. So yeah, there's a bunch of things going on, and this one I'm just really interested in how the development of set 4 meta is becoming in Japan. And there's some really interesting stuff that's going on, and some things that could be very useful in our meta going forward, since we're going to be looking at Shoujo Doji City, right? So first off, the Chiyo Cup in Takasaki, 7 Shoujo Dojis, 4 Blank Damage, right? These guys, well, Blank Damage got new support. Shoujo Doji just has been really, really good going into just everything ever since it's got its release. But then in Polio, this thing has been popping up, right? Popping up big time. I'm hearing it's got a good matchup against Shoujo Doji. I'm guessing like when you get 5k shield when you take a damage, that's a pretty good skill to have. And then if you're able to just drive check heals, you always get this kind of pseudo barrier that really pisses off Shoujo Doji. So I'm thinking it's that, because when you look at it, it's like a 3 attack deck, right? It's a 3 attack deck, and like you generally want to just rush quickly with it, but in the end, it's a 3 attack deck. So that's kind of the main thing that kind of deals with it, or like maybe is giving it the edge. Of course, those are scales, but that's another thing. Then like Michu, Varga, Lishafel, all of that is crazy. But let's kind of look at the results. So first off, we have the winning team, which took it in Polio, a Shiranui, and a Shoujo Doji. So very interesting there. We're going to take a look at some of these decks as well. And then second place was a Michu, a Kairi, and Shoujo Doji. And then third place was Bruce, right? Bruce did get some support. And then the Dayusha and Black. So this is like the Astrum PR that is also a Blitz. So you can run it in Wellstraw, but also run Astrum cards, which is pretty interesting. I actually think this card is really good. Unfortunately, we don't get these PRs in English, which really sucks. But this is, I think this has like some pretty decent potential. And then in fourth place, we have the full lyrical team, like Chris Rain, Kairi, and Absolute Zero. Now, Chris Rain did get some support, and we've been seeing it do better, right? Better nowadays. So it'll be interesting to see what they've done. But I think it's pretty it's pretty good seeing at least Chris Rain be good again. And then let's look at some of the results, like the overall top cut. This was diversity cut. But yeah, so just we saw the Black team, right? The Emporio teams here as well. These were all undefeated. We had a Mushi King make it, but hey, it's Mushi King, right? Right now it feels kind of weird, like you just don't know what's gonna be like good as a diversity. Do you even play for diversity? We don't know, right? So interesting. I think the top cut diversity cut was around 8th, so this is where you went like got the weird decks. So here we have the full-on triple lyrical team, and basically none of them were in the top cut, right? So I don't think there was a Kairi. Yeah, there was no Chris Rain. So 7th is basically where the diversity cut started. Charmo, Leonore. We had a lot of Leonores in top decks last week, but I'm sure like we'll probably see more this week too. Top decks will be recorded again. If you want to see some interesting stuff, go see there. More casual stuff, more fun stuff, right? Some Aldens popping in Polio as well. Leisha failed. So a lot of the new cards, a lot of new ride lines from set 4 seeing some support, well, seeing some impact in play. Like a lot of people were just saying how set 4 definitely looked, the power lines looked pretty, not that great, but we're actually seeing quite a lot of decent stuff happening. The crazy part for me is Equilibria, only one top, right? It wasn't even featured in any undefeated team. So yeah, I think that's pretty crazy. Blangdemeyer, on the other hand, lots of tops. And even Aldens had more tops than Equilibria. So I don't know. I think that's pretty interesting. But let's take a look at some of the decks that are interesting. So first off, first place team, we have the Emporio. One thing we're seeing is finding ways to soul blast cards out in the early game so that your gauge or your gauge works properly. So this has been one card that's been popping up. It's just like a simple act once per turn. Soul Blast 1, you draw a card and you discard a card from your hand. And then if your order zone has a set order, which you do, it gets 5k. So why is this good? 15k beater in the early game is nice. You play it down in grade 2, 15k hits a nice number, forces like 10k shields, which rarely exists, right? And then you can also just, you put 2 cards in the drop zone. So Soul Blast and the discard. So feels pretty nice, right? It feels pretty nice. That baseline can just set you up for the entirety, I guess, of the rest of the... Just give you enough gauges to, like, put away, right? And then the Blitz Order, this other thing that they're running, this is just puts things into the Guardian Circle, and that's why they're running the grade 3. So you kind of use the grade 3, and this card, if you keep on using this, you can just basically keep on getting shield, because this guy's shield is massive. So if you shield, and then use the Blitz Order, you're getting so much value, and you're just like this crazy defensive deck that is really annoying to deal with that scales. So I think that's pretty cool, right? But that's not the only way to play Empoleon. We'll see more later on. The next deck here is the Bruce deck. Now, I'm going to be real here. I don't know what Vietnamese Bruce has been doing lately, okay? It's Bruce, honestly, not my favorite deck, but they did get some new support, and I'm surprised that with that new support, it's at least doing something. I don't know how well it is. This is like a one-off kind of deck, but I do think there is maybe some potential, so I'd be very happy if anyone in the comments just says how good Bruce is right now. Is it a solid tier 2 deck? Is it maybe just this guy got lucky? Let me know, right? The next one we have is the Black deck. So I think this PR really has a lot of potential. If we take a look at what it is a Wellstraw, it is an Astrum, and it's got like Blitz. It's got the Blitz. So it's got everything, right? Everything that you want. It does... This thing does get triple drive, which I think is a huge advantage compared to just everything else. Like twin drive is worse than triple drive. Duh, of course triple drive is, but no, triple drive just adds so much value to any kind of... I think it's very hard to explain unless like you've played the game for a very, very long time. It's just triple drive adds so much consistency to decks, right? Even decks that are like twin drive plus 1 draw, like it's similar to that, but just having that extra draw every single turn or extra trigger just adds so much consistency to trigger checks. That's why, like, when you look at what decks have been doing really good in the meta, why Stride decks have been doing really good in the meta, it's all down to the triple drive. Consistency, triple drive, that's why they're so good. So being able to get a triple drive, even though you have to discard 1, is just... I think it's pretty nice. Right? I think it's pretty nice. So the act also activates a set order, so you can, well, just a product, so you just get value from there. The second effect is just when it attacks, though. Attacks a Vanguard, you can CB1 and stand something. So ideally, you're going to be standing like your Freiheits to activate more products, etc., etc. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. But then you can also run some of the Astrum stuff. So like this guy is running the Astrum support, which also stands. So when you like Soul Blast a like Astrum grade 3, which the PR is because it's everything, you get to stand this. So that's how you make extra attacks and CB1 and draw and things like that. I think there's like a lot of potential there and should be pretty cool to see, right? Because you can mix everything with this. Of course, you don't get to run. I don't think you get to run well, you can run the satellite, but the thing is, it's just your products are less consistent. But because you just don't have the divine skill anymore. But having just the power on the Vanguard effects is really nice compared to like, oh, plus 10k from Vanguard attack or something like that. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. The next one is just Chris Rain. So Chris Rain, you can see most of this is just like normal cards if you look at it, right? So, you know, whoa, Chris Rain support, you know, energy cycler, you know, grade 1 vanilla, Strega, you got Eureka. But then they just put in one card, right? This new card, this new grade 1 from set 4, and bam, this deck is doing rounds. It's already like way better than it was before. This makes like an extra attack, at least one extra attack. So yeah, that's like, I think that's one of the biggest problems with Chris Rain was that it was just a 3-attack deck until like one turn when it was like a 4-attack deck, maybe a 5-attack deck. But now you're like, when you're consistently getting 4 attacks, yeah, it's just better, right? It's just better. There's like no other way to put it. Next, just showing off a random Luard. So this is what Luard is being built like right now. I don't think it's really changed since the last time we saw it. They're just running the new Undercolor grade 4, and then just top checking for value, right? Top 5, get a Shadow Paladin, which is likely your PG, and then just they're not really playing hostage anymore. But I guess this is what it's looking like. It's not too popular as well, Luard. Luard's really dropped off compared to Shiranui. Because we just have the dogs, right? No Selgions. GG. But then we have another Impoldio deck. So this one is running the hostage build of Impoldio. So able to just get like a lot more defense, I guess. But there's like you have crazy defense when you think about it. So they're throwing away anything on the field they don't need. And then they have like the Blitz order as well still. So there's a lot of shielding going on. And then you have like, I guess this is pretty good against like Blangmar, right? Because this is where you can like either get Fat Shield, or you can just put down some PGs and make your Blangmar player feel really bad. So I guess it's pretty cool, right? The main cards again are still the extra drive check, grade 3, and then just 4 of the big shield, and then just running like 3 banana, Blitz order, hostage order combo, like 3-2 actually, and then it just literally just builds itself, right? It just builds itself, yeah. You know, you need counter card, boom, for this. And then I guess this card, I see a lot of people play. I don't really think it's that necessary. You don't always need it. So yeah, this one, like, the Japanese players just love it, right? You know, extra soul, able to top 5 check for a grade 2. I guess the cool thing is most of your deck here is grade 2 or higher. So there's like, it's very hard to miss, I guess. But when we say that, it's hard to say that, right? But I do think it's a good inclusion. I do think it's a good inclusion. Again, another Impoldio as well. This one running 4 of the dragon, and this is 4 of, like I said before, extra ways to put cards in the drop zone for the gauge. And then the usual suspects are here. Big shield boys. No hostage build though, but yeah, this one can at least. It's basically like a trade-off, right? If you want to run the hostage build, you have to trade off. Like the hostage one does get like is a soul blast, so it helps you with the long game, but this one helps you with the early game. So I guess you're like trying out, do you go for the long game or the early game? It's up to you. So it's Bushra game, so you need to play fast, right? So I think go for the quick game. Next is Alden. So Alden has been just pretty much like, you got the pile, the Keter pile going on, the Jewel Knight girl, counter charge. Everyone's running Ermac. Is it Ermac? Right? This guy just gets big power and is very annoying. And this guy is just running some flex here with the Carbuncle and the Dual Nation to put back cards, I'm guessing. But the rest of it is just pretty Alden-centric, so nothing too deep there. The next one is another Alicia Fell, or is it the first Alicia? But anyway, last, I think, hasn't really changed that much. Last week we saw them running the Willista Ride line just to get the extra draws, as well as basically the main card in this is just Alicia Fell support. So this one is the 4th attack, and then they're running the counter charger for Alicia Fell, but then the rest of it is just the vanilla good stuff, because why not? They're just good stuff, right? Strega, Energy Cycler, and just normal Cycler as well. So all of that there. Yuika is always just very good, and even the Alicia Fell grade 3 order. So cool, right? Extra powers always nice. Extra powers always nice, and energy charges. So cool. After that, we have another Alden. This one is not running any of the flex stuff. It's just going, again, Caterpillar stuff. Then we got the extra booster, right? The big booster that is given to all the divine skill people with the 15k boost, right? It's 15k boost. And then, yeah, this one just basically cut most of the fluff. It just went 1 counter charger only. 1 carbuncle, I guess. It has some dual uses. Just to call 5, but yeah, none of the dual nation stuff. Just filled it with a big booster. And then after that, we have another Alicia Fell. This one is similar to before, but it's running just a couple of more Alicia Fell supports. So we see the grade 3 coming in, and then just I guess they cut down. Well, they didn't cut down on cyclers. They went 4 Velshaban and 1 energy cycler. Velshaban again, like we've been saying, one of the best cyclers in the game, just because it has a dual function personality, utility. I get no personality, utility. Maybe she is. Dual function person. I don't know. But yeah, able to cycle early and give power late, and then you have some of the absolute 0 cards being used as well. I guess it's mainly for soul charge, right? Mainly for soul charge. So pretty cool. And then lastly, we're taking a look at the Equilibria. So anything has changed with this deck? I still think it's pretty cool. They're running 4 of the Brachio Force, just because the on-hit pressure is pretty cool. You can pretty much confirm it, I guess, because your power lines are so big. This one is running something grade 3, though, like the grade 3 overcharge, and also running 1x of the Order Searcher, which is, I guess, a nice access to order, right? But the only order you'll be searching is this. So I guess it has 5k more shield. So that might be nice. That might be just better than running 4x of this. But yeah, this one, you cannot search regular species as far as I'm aware. All right, so I guess they're just running as like extra booster, right? Booster early on so you can push is always nice, right? But that's not the only tournament that has been played last weekend. There's also an Ultimate Vanguard tournament. This one is singles, which is cool. Like too many teams, right? As you can see, some of the top decks still remain the same. We had like 2 Shoujo Doji, 2 Impaldio, and then like 2x of Michu and 2x of the Alden. But yeah, this was basically singles. I think this was 89 players showed up, and this is the top 16. So pretty cool. And then the winners, we had the first place was actually the Impaldio, and this one is running the Hostage Impaldio. There's some pretty nice decks in. We'll talk about it very soon. Second place was the Kyrie. Kyrie running the new kind of generic ride line for Lyrical. But yeah, Kyrie's pretty nice. Then third place was a Yotsuba. So this one actually pretty interesting in my opinion. I've been kind of paying attention to this, the random Yotsuba deck that's popping up in some of these tournaments. I'll have a chat about it soon. And then the fourth place was Aster running Alden list. So this guy, I'm very happy. got the sunnies going on. But let's take a look at some of the decks. So first off is that Impaldio deck running the Hostage line, but also I think this was Messiah support, right? This was the old Messiah support back from DBT 11. Now, why is this being run? So basically, when you put on the Guardian Circle and it gets retired, you can Soul Blast 1 and call it rested in the back row, right? So open back row, by the way. So I guess you guard with this early, and then you get value from it because it comes back, and you can boost with it next turn, and then you also Soul Blast a card, so there is something in the drop zone. So it helps your rush, I guess, while filling up your drop zone for gauges. And then, yeah, the hostage stuff here, which kind of interacts pretty well, right? Because you get your Banana Man, and then you Soul Blast, which makes gauges, that calls this guy, that calls this order, and then you can start using this order to put away this thing, right? Like, start guarding with that, so you're getting the infinite value, right? You're maxing out every single value you can, which is interesting. But also running Taser Lages, right? Taser Lage is, I think it's pretty cool. Like, read the meta, see what is being played, and then play some Taser Lages down to make your opponent feel bad. They all scale with power anyway, so you're just gonna get fat and help you control the game. And this guy went full on. He just went, 4 PGs. Let's go 3 Blitz orders and call it a day, right? 3 Blitz orders to just get fat and be hyper defensive. So I think it's pretty cool, right? I think it's pretty cool. And the second deck we have is just the Kyrie. So you got that normal ride line going on. But the rest of the Kyrie deck, I think, is just pretty much what you'd expect from a Kyrie deck. Now, the third deck as well is the Yotsuba. So the Yotsuba is actually pretty interesting. When this deck kind of goes off, you play an order every single turn, and then your Yotsuba is like 18k. And what does 18k remind you of? It's like an Impaldio taking 1 damage. And then it's kind of like, I guess, kind of like an annoying number for your opponent. I guess also a lot of people don't really know what Yotsuba does, or they forgot what it does or what it can do. So maybe they're just randomly taking damage and randomly, like, you're just getting free memory for the auto win condition. So I think it's pretty interesting, right? In terms of defensiveness, this deck has it. And in terms of like draw power, you have your twin drive, then you usually give your rear guard 1 drive check as well. So you have like 3 drives, but then when Yotsuba attacks, you also CB1 draws. So there's some like value in just drawing there. And with the Yotsuba, or just in general, the quintessential quintuplets support, it does kind of filter your deck quite a lot. So you'll get into a situation where your deck has like a bunch of triggers, and you're damage checking triggers, and then you're 18k already, so you're just making your opponent feel bad by just being fat, right? So I think there is potential with this deck. We'll see, but I personally have been having some fun playing this deck. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And then lastly, we have that Alden deck. As we can see, we have the Ermac again, and then but there's no Ketterpal. Where's the Ketterpal? Right, this is actually a different one. So we have this grade 3 here. This one is actually Alden support, getting a fat boost, right, and can clear up space to make soul. And then I guess just running 13k boosters. You got the Jewel Knight and all that. So, and then 4x of this order. 4x of this order? Wow. Okay. I felt like you might not have needed it, but, you know, 4x make 5 attacks. I guess it's pretty good, right? I guess it's still nice. It confirms all the attacks. So yeah, that's pretty much all the list. I'm the most hyped for Yotsuba, man. This deck is pretty funny. But also the Empoleon tops, these Empoleon decks have been pretty crazy. I think it's pretty cool. Everyone doubted this deck. They were like, is 3 attack good? I think it sucks. But then it became really good, which is nice to see. So that's it for me. What do you guys think of Step 4 so far? Is it interesting? Is it cool? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all very soon. All right? Bye.